Hey Rudy, so today I have another video in the exclusively pumping series here on my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how to transition from nursing into exclusively pumping. There are a few things that I want to mention before I get into how to go about this that I think you guys should know. First and foremost, one of the questions I get asked most often is if you can be successful in exclusively pumping, and you absolutely can. There are even a lot of instances where you may not be so successful in nursing, but you can be in exclusively pumping. For instance, my first breastfeeding journey with my oldest daughter, Sophie, she had such a severe lip tie that the nursing relationship was not working for us. She wasn't transferring milk well, she wasn't emptying me. She also was having a hard time with her latch, which was also creating a plethora of issues for myself, like cracked nipples and just excruciating pain. So all in all, our nursing relationship wasn't too successful. However, when I switched to exclusively pumping, I learned how to correctly pump and everything that goes into it. I was able to exclusively pumped for 10 months, and the only reason why I weaned was because I got pregnant with our youngest Remy. So you can definitely be successful in it. It is going to be a tough and a little bit of a process with the transition, but know that it is going to eventually happen. I know with those like first few days, I really feel like, oh my gosh, this is going to be forever, but I have to keep reminding myself that eventually I will make the transition completely over to exclusively pumping, and you're not going to have to worry about doing both for an extended amount of time. There are people who choose to pump and nurse, and that's amazing if that's what works for them, but this video is on how to transition from nursing to exclusively pumping. But if you are looking to feed them exclusively breast milk, you just want to stick to a very strict schedule, which I'll have all my previous EP videos down below if you guys have any questions. I have covered a ton of topics, but if you're noticing a video that I don't have, be sure to mention it and I'll try to make it for you guys. But stick to a very strict schedule, and eventually you should watch your supply slowly increase. Now, if you are having trouble and it seems like you're sticking to a schedule, you're doing everything else right, I would definitely recommend seeing some kind of lactation consultant and talking it out with them, seeing what you can do to troubleshoot, because there may be an underlying issue as to why you're not making so much milk. So if you're making the switch from nursing to exclusively pumping out of necessity, I wanted to let you guys know that it is completely normal, healthy, reasonable, and almost necessary, no, I'm going to say definitely necessary, to mourn your nursing relationship. That is a completely reasonable feeling that I feel like most moms who did want to nurse experience when they switch to exclusively pumping. You're completely justified in that feeling, and I feel like you do need to take those months, weeks, days, whatever it may be for you, to really process that and feel those feelings, because there's nothing wrong with them, and just work through them. Know that you're still doing the best by your baby, and the best by your baby is always doing the best that you can and what's best to keep them healthy and happy. So if that's exclusively pumping, you're still doing an amazing job. Try not to be so hard on yourself, because you are doing the best that you can, and I just wanted to throw that in there because I know with Sophie, that was definitely something I went through. Now, for those of you who may be making this switch out of something that you want, I've also been there with my daughter Remy. I've chose to exclusively pump this time around, and I wanted to let you guys know that your reasoning is not completely out of left field. There's a lot more people who understand your reasoning and who are even behind it and have done it themselves than you may know. I feel like there's more and more people choosing to exclusively pump because it just fits better in their lifestyle. That's what works best for us. So that's what I've chose this time around. So I wanted to let you guys know that you're not alone either. Also, I did want to say thank you to the Breast Bottle and Beyond ladies who helped me with these questions. I do periodically post in BBB about EP related videos just to make sure that I'm not missing any kind of piece of advice I could offer you guys. So I want to say thank you to those ladies who commented on there, and I will have a link to that Facebook group down below. I do get a lot of questions on it, but that will be in the description box below for you guys. I'll get into more about support groups here in a second though. So now I'm just going to go ahead and get into the process of going from nursing to exclusively pumping. And the first thing that I wanted to mention is take your time, have patience, and just kind of trust the process. It's going to be easier on everybody if you just take it slow and take it day by day. You're dealing with the fact that you're not going to be nursing anymore and that you're going to be exclusively pumping. That's a lot to handle, not only work-wise, but mentally-wise. Your baby's also getting used to different things, and I feel like your significant other is just going to be kind of picking up the pieces of everything that everybody else is going through. So I just wanted to say that because I feel like that is a big part of it. Just trust the process. Know that you will get there. I will say that this transition is easier if you have a oversupply and or are pumping already. It's just easier with this process, and I'll explain here why. If you aren't already though, I would definitely suggest to start pumping after your nursing sessions. It's completely normal if after your nursing sessions at first you aren't getting a lot of milk, but the idea is just to give you that oversupply to also slowly build up a stash. The stash just makes it easier for when you are transitioning to exclusively pumping, that if you're struggling with undersupply, you'll have that to help you out, and also just in case of emergencies. And then once you've started pumping after nursing sessions and you're kind of getting into the groove of that, I would recommend that you start replacing nursing sessions with pumping and bottle feeding sessions. And I feel like it's best to do this a little before when you are going to start nursing. That way, by the time you get done pumping, you can give them fresh milk. They're not going to be overly hungry or overly grumpy or anything. They're still going to eat on time. So I think it is a little beneficial to start your pumping sessions a little bit earlier than you would your nursing sessions, but you just want to slowly start to replace those. And I say slowly because you can really find out what kind of rhythm, what kind of schedule, what kind of bottle, what, you know, all these different factors that go into exclusively pumping. You can find what works for you and your family if you take it slowly. And I will say that with my daughter Sophie, she didn't care what bottle she ate out of. She would have ate out of anything I gave her. However, with our daughter Remy, she was very specific. So I'm glad this time around we did take it rather slow in the transition, because it definitely did take some learning to figure out what worked for her. And also with my oversupply, it took a while to find out what worked for myself. And then basically the only thing to it is you're gonna just keep replacing nursing sessions with pumping and feeding sessions. So that's all you're gonna keep doing until you slowly switched over. It sounds a lot easier said than done, because it is. You know, it is a lot, especially if you do have an oversupply to deal with pumping and nursing. For me, it was entirely too much to handle. I chose one or the other, which was exclusively pumping. So, you know, it is a process. It is going to be very overwhelming, but I want you ladies to know that you're not alone. And as always, I wanted to talk about some support groups, because I feel like that's one of the most beneficial things you can have for exclusively pumping help. I will have 2 groups linked down below. One of them is called Breast Bottle and Beyond. It is a Facebook group that I actually help admin, and I have helped admin from the start. It's run by a good friend of mine, Josie, and she's in school to become a lactation consultant. So I will have the link down to BBB for you guys, of those who may be interested. Just know that we do allow nursing photos and posts for those of you who may be sensitive. For those of you who may not want to see that or may not be ready to see those kind of posts, I will also have a separate link down below to an entirely different Facebook group that I'm also a part of. It's for strictly only exclusively pumping moms. You won't have to worry about those nursing posts or photos, and it's an amazing Facebook group as well. So the camera died just as I was about to sign off, but anyways, that is everything that I have for this exclusively pumping video. If you guys have any tips and tricks of your own when it comes to transitioning from nursing to exclusively pumping, be sure to leave them down below so other people can get even more ideas. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.